My friends, world travel can open up your eyes to different perspectives, different cultures, which, if you know me, is why I am always ready to basically drop everything and travel every single chance that I get. And so today I really wanted to bring on someone to really kind of dive into that about what we're doing this summer. And so today I'm going to be having my guest, Matthew Cunningham. He is from London, and he is going to be joining everyone in Vegas for Dance Teacher Web Conference and Expo. And so today we're going to dive into what it's really like for an Englishman in Vegas, what his perspective is. Matthew was the director of strategic development at the Royal Academy of Dance, and so he has a unique perspective coming in to the US, to Las Vegas, which is y'all know Vegas, it's crazy in its own right. And so has his own unique perspective, and he's going to be sharing his English spin and insights of the 4-day experience in Las Vegas in an upcoming series. And so I wanted to really just have him on, have a chat about it, what to expect. Of course, if you have not gotten your tickets necessarily yet for Dance Teacher Web, make sure to do that. We will be sharing the link later on. And if you stumbled upon this somehow, y'all, I'm Erin Bird, and I support dance studio owners and educators to really grow their businesses with their unique vision of success without the burnout, the overwhelm, the sacrificing of their personal lives, because the reality is that you don't have to do that. You can have your passion, you can have profit, you can have your dream life. You just have to decide. And sometimes you just need a little support to get there. And if you're joining us, say hello. Let us know that you're here live. Or if you come back in on the replay, we want to know that as well. This is an active conversation. So know that whether you're live, whether you come back in on the replay, we will continue the conversation with you in the comments section. So make sure that you get in there. We'll have a chat and really just lean into this idea and really get excited. I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited for summer. I am really excited for summer. It is, my kids are getting out of school on Friday, so we are super close to summer here in our community, and we finished up our school year with our dance programming. And so now, like, we're just ticking down the clock and to all the goodness that summer's going to bring. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in our guest, Matthew. I'll let him kind of introduce himself, give a little bit of back about him, and then we're going to really just dive into this conversation today about his experience here and also what to expect on his side from Dance Teacher Web Conference and Expo in Vegas. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him in, and let's see if this works for us. It worked. I don't know why I get so excited, because I'm like, ooh, you never know with technology.
No,
So I'm like, ooh, is it going to work? So I'm going to go ahead and just, Matthew, let you introduce yourself. So, because I don't know that I could do you justice, but I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then we're just going to dive into this whole topic. So I'm going to be quiet for a second.
Oh, thank you, Erin. It's really good to be with you. It's good to meet you and to meet you all virtually as well. And hopefully I'll meet some of you in person at the conference in Vegas. My name is Matthew Cunningham. I live in London. I'm broadcasting from London right now. It's 4 p.m. here, so a bit after you in the States. I currently work at a place called Morley College, which is an adult education provider. And we do dance, actually, as part of what we do, but it's a small part, but a really important part. Before that, as you said, Erin, I was the Director of Strategic Development at the Royal Academy of Dance, which is a dance teacher organisation, global, but biggest here in the UK. But we do have an operation in the US, and I first got to know about Dance Teacher Web through that role at the RAD. And I started attending, I think it was 2017, And then when I left the academy 5 years ago, I kind of didn't want to lose touch with the dance world, and I certainly didn't want to lose touch with Steve and Angie and
Mhm.
Dance Teacher Web. So I'm back, and I've been back for the last 2 years. This will be my third year again in part two, and I can't wait. I absolutely love it. And finally, you couldn't have picked a more appropriate person to talk about travel, because I am the same as you. I love getting on a plane, a train, a bus, a boat, and traveling to different places, different spaces, getting a different view of the world. So it's really good to chat it all through.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that I don't know if you've always felt this way. I remember when I was a child, you know how people say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I had two answers. I wanted to be a dancer and I wanted to be a nomad. those, were, those were my two answers. And I really feel like, while of course we have our home base here in California, that I have that spirit. And with things like, our dance studio owners business retreat that we host, going to conferences, hosting conferences, doing things of that nature really gets to do, be best of both worlds. But I'm like, y'all, I have a passport. You just let me know. We'll go, right? Because I think that travel in itself just makes us more creative, as like we are creatives. Most of us in this space, right, are creatives anyway, but it opens up our perspectives, our minds. It really allows us to see things through a different lens, and to me, that's the catalyst for creation.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I travel to the States a lot. In fact, I was in the States a couple of weeks ago in Austin, Texas,
Hmm.
and a state I've never been to before. And I was on a work trip there for my current job. And people think the States and the UK might be quite similar. We come from the same kind of place.
Yeah.
We're not similar at all. We have such different ways of doing things, different ways of looking at the world. We speak the same language pretty much. Um, but it's so great to go and see the way that somebody else does your job, or somebody else does your kind of job.
Mhm.
It was fantastic in Austin, and I had a taste of summer, which was really exciting. Um, but yeah, I completely agree. It refreshes you. It gives you literally a global perspective, uh,
Mhm.
and it means you can see through someone else's eyes, which I think is really important.
Yeah, I love it. And Chelsea, yes, I don't know, something, I think when you have that wanderlust, like it's just, I don't know, maybe it's like always in you. And so, yes, I did. People would say, "What do you want to be?" I'm like, "I want to be a nomad." And they would kind of chuckle and laugh at me. Who would have thought, though, like over the years, this whole nomadic lifestyle has really come into play for so many people, where maybe it wasn't when I was a child. But your daughter says she wants to be a ballerina and a particle physicist. And you know what? She can do both. Um, right? Like it's one of those things where I absolutely love to travel. So let's dive
She could
in.
probably do both of those things around the world too. I mean, those are two great options. They're universal languages, science and dance,
Abs-
aren't they? Yeah.
Absolutely, and I absolutely love it. And we've been having many conversations. Actually, I have a daughter who is in high school, and she's loves theater, and she's in drama, and does all the things, but she really is into science as well. And so we were talking about the whole, I think, idea of STEAM instead of just STEM.
Mhm.
And so we were having conversation about how they go hand in hand, and me geeking out on data and stuff. I'm like, well, data shows, right? So like we were having the whole conversation, but you could do both, and she can just live in her STEAM, bubble, and go around and, yeah, go all over the world. So Chelsea, I'm pretty confident that she's going to do both. So let's dive in real quick. So tell us more about, this series that you did it last year, and then what's it going to look like this year for those who maybe didn't attend last year, who didn't see, or who are thinking about attending but not quite sure, about the conference itself, or trying to choose. So what's your role in creating this docu series?
So yeah, I last year I went to the event, and I said to Steve and Angie, what can I do? You know, what would be a good thing for me to come and do? I go because I love it. I love going to Vegas. I love the feeling of community that's in that building at that time.
Yeah.
I love meeting other people from around the world. A couple of my favorite people I interviewed already actually this year, Deborah and Dan from Australia. And you know, the only time I see them is at Dance Teacher Web in
Mhm.
Vegas. So those are the reasons that I go. But I said to Steve and Angie, what could I do for you? You know, I'm
Mhm.
here. I'm at your service, and
Yeah.
we came up with this idea of an Englishman in Las Vegas, which is a series of videos that I make on the day and then release later that night. So it's kind of
Mhm.
almost in real time, and it's
Yeah.
just my perspective. I video it all myself. There's no crew or anything. It's a homespun thing,
Yeah.
but it's me attending classes, speaking with faculty, um,
Mhm.
roaming around the exhibition hall, speaking with people
Mhm.
like you,
Yeah.
exhibitors, and just releasing that as clips so people can either catch up or watch something they didn't see when they were actually in the conference. So yeah, that's the idea, and this year it's going to be a bigger and better operation, and I've already been doing some clips
Mm.
in advance with some of the faculty,
Mhm.
and releasing those on the Englishman in Las Vegas site.
Oh, I
So that's what it is. It's a mad few days because I'm 8 hours jet lagged. You get up at very early in the morning, you attend a whole day, you're filming people, you've always got something to do in the evening, and then you're editing a video. But I love it. It's a lot of fun.
It's one of those things I always tell, people who have either never attended, the conference, whether they're an attendee, whether they're a faculty member or exhibitor, that, prepare, give yourself beforehand because it is really go, go, go from early in the morning, till the evening. And but there's so much goodness that you really don't wanna miss anything.
Yeah,
And I can, even as, coming from a dance background, obviously, I run a nonprofit dance organization here, that serves thousands and thousands of students, but what I can say is that I go in and just there's classes that I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how do we even choose?" How do you even choose between these? Because they're just so good. And so it's really, you don't want to miss anything. And and so I love the fact that you're kind of taking in different perspectives. And one of the great things that Angie and Steve does is on their app where you can go back and watch those, workshops and sessions that you missed. But I love the idea of also these small snippets because it also lets people can give people an idea of, oh yeah, I really need to go back and take a look at XYZ, right? In real time. And, maybe in the morning when they're having breakfast, they check out your reel or your snippet and they're like, ooh, before I go, I want to look at XYZ,
yeah,
right? Or, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this exhibitor was there. But now, because we've seen this video, we know that they're, and I definitely need to stop by and talk to them. So I think it's a really, um, not only a great tool for attendees, but also, like we talked about, it's all about perspective,
mm,
right? And really learning about different thought processes and learning, oh, here at home, we do XYZ. But when I was, in this session, I heard that you guys do XYZ and how it may be similar or how it could be, quite opposite, based upon your perspective. And so I absolutely love that. And I think that there's something to be said about um, being able to see things through a different lens. And so sometimes one of the things I talk about with my clients a lot is that just because we did something one way doesn't mean it's always the best way.
sure.
Right. And so I think that sometimes getting those perspectives, and that's why I do love to visit, like you said, other countries, other studios in other countries. So, like when we're in Ireland, we visited some studios there, that I have clients there, and it was amazing, right,
They,
to see
and they have such strong sense of dance in Ireland, right? The sort of river dance, the cliche river dance, but it's not a cliche. It's part of that culture, and
culture.
it comes through in
Mhm.
people, even if they're doing ballet. They've got that sort of
Right.
culture of dance, I think, in Ireland.
100%, and it was so good to see, right? And when I was speaking with our attendees in Ireland that were from Ireland, they're again getting their perspective, what their challenges are. Many are similar to ours here in the States, but also, the idea that they feel they are literally on an island, but like that they don't necessarily have all the support when it comes to business side of things and things of that nature that we have here in the States, or that maybe that you have in the UK. And so really kind of leaning into that. But yes, at those studios, it was so just amazing to see um, how they ran things, and how, like you said, it's just ingrained in them as a culture.
And do you know what? One of the things that most left the biggest impression on me last year at Dance Teacher Web um, was a session that was given by, I think his name's Tony Coppola, um,
Hmm.
who is a tap. His
Hmm.
thing is tap, and he ran a session that was really well attended. And if you look back in the videos, you can see a bit of it, where he was using classical music like Haydn, Joseph Haydn, trumpet concerto, to do tap, or what I would call West End, or you
Hmm.
might call Broadway, but sort of
Right.
really showy tap,
Hmm.
in a very different type of classical music. And
Hmm.
it was like time travel. So you've got the sense of travel, people coming from different places, but also this he was giving us a perspective that was about time, and this music that was composed 200-300 years ago,
Hmm.
totally relevant to the art of tap dance. It was absolutely amazing. The
Hmm.
rhythm that he got them to produce from their feet, complementing the rhythm of the music, it was really amazing. So
I
uh,
love
those kind of perspectives is what you
it.
get when you go to a big event like Dance Teacher Web. Different people from different places and different views of the world.
I love it. And what I love about, going into these sessions is that you might, well, one, you don't really have any expectation other than, like, I'm going into this class. I want to take a tap, as an educator. Oh, I want to go in and I want to take a tap session. But walking out with such an impactful perspective, idea, really thinking outside the box, maybe of something that you would have never thought in that way. I absolutely, that's what it's all about, is going back and it inspires you, and it refreshes you and invigorates you as not only an educator, but as a studio owner. Your staff, when they come out and they're just like, my head is spinning, like it's so good. And I can't wait to get back into the studio and like share these nuggets with our students, because that really is how our little, we're a pebble. Our little pebble turns into that ripple and turns into the tsunami of really sharing with our students all over the world. And
The other thing I would add to that is there's something, and again, I used to work in the dance world, but I've never been a dancer or a dance teacher.
Mhm,
I've always been an administrator.
mhm,
So I'm a lay person when it comes to actually getting up on the dance floor. But what is so thrilling at Dance Teacher Web is you see groups of people who are dancers. They are dance teachers, so they have technique.
mhm,
Um, Getting to play around for an hour with a master tutor who's telling them how to do tap dance to the music of Haydn, and by the end of that hour, or whatever the length of the session is, I'm seeing a performance. And there's people who usually at the front of the classroom teaching are actually the student, and they're enjoying themselves, and you can tell, and they're really good. So I was so blown away. It felt like watching a performance by the end of that hour, because they'd learned quickly, they knew what they were doing, they were working in synchronicity.
mhm,
Really exciting. So there's a kind of physical bit about this as well, which is you get to be the student, you get to learn a
mhm,
bit of new technique or a new way of doing a step or a new way of
mhm.
interpreting music. And I thought that was really exciting to see. You could see it written on people's faces. They were loving it.
Yeah. I have to say that that is something that I hear as I speak with studio owners and educators, is that, you get so busy so many times. You're teaching, right? You're the educator. And you start to lose that piece of taking dances for yourself, right? Because everything that you start creating and producing is for others. And, we all get so busy. And to go and find a class for ourselves, for some of, our studio owners, it's not maybe as readily available as it is for like us here in California. I can go to LA, I can go to San Francisco, I can go to, and take an adult drop-in class that's, of high caliber, or, in New York, we can go to Steps, we can go, like, those are readily available. But some of our studio owners that are in, rural communities, or they might be, in middle America, they don't have those opportunities readily available, and they look forward to all year long coming and knowing they're not only going to have amazing faculty there to teach them, but they get to do something that, while yes, they're going to help and turn that into their classroom skill set, but it's for them in that moment.
Yeah, I get that absolutely. And one of the faculty that I've interviewed in the last couple of months is
Mhm.
Jess Stafford, and
Mhm.
she's doing a course, I think, a session on choreography
Mhm.
at a conference, and we were talking in that conversation about as a teacher, you've got to be a choreographer as well, and to
Mhm.
be a good choreographer, you can't just be doing the steps. You've got to know yourself. You've got to know what your artistic vision is.
Yes.
And I guess in order to know what your artistic vision is, you've got to attend events like the one we're talking about, where you
Yeah.
can find yourself, you can reinvent yourself, you can give yourself that breathing room to discover your artistic vision, and then take that back to the school, your dance school, and share it with your students. So
Mhm.
it is about kind of knowing yourself and having
Yes.
that time. And then for her, I think she was saying that choreography absolutely relies on that. You can't be a good choreographer if you don't have that strong sense of self and artistic vision. So it's a kind of business skill as well.
100%. And that's where I think when we come in to Dance Tutor Web and these sessions and workshops, like I said, it gets those creative juices flowing. And I have literally seen some of my clients, I have clients who come year over year over year, and they pick Dance Teacher Web for that purpose. But also, I mean, like we talked about community, they love seeing their old friends that they don't get to see. They get to see once a year, right? Their peers. But they'll go in and they'll get that inspiration, and they'll have a vision. And then they can walk into the expo hall and start to talk to the costuming companies and say, okay, I've got this vision. Like, what? Like, it is a full experience. And they can go back. And I literally have, I did a session with some studio owners a few years back about at the beginning, literally, you can plan your entire showcase, your entire recital while you're here in Vegas, because you can get the inspiration you need. You can start to come up with the vision. You can go into the expo hall and get the support that you need through the costuming, through the light, like all the things, and go into the new season for the fall fresh and being like, I've got a plan. Like, I already know what I want to do, which is amazing, because that doesn't always happen. That doesn't always happen in our industry. So, it's just that full experience.
Oh, and yeah, by the way, it happens in Las Vegas. So if you walk out the door, you've got the Bellagio fountains, which are in themselves an inspiration,
Right.
choreographic inspiration. You can go and attend, one of 6 or 7 Cirque du Soleil shows. You can go to all sorts of other shows. You are not lacking for visual and stimulus in Las Vegas. So I can
No.
imagine, someone coming, getting all of that good stuff in the exhibition hall and in the
Mhm.
studios, and then walking out the door and being really inspired by the lights and the sounds and the shows of the city that you happen to be in.
Yes, and so that is, yes, y'all. I know that Steve and Angie are cooking up something for you guys. I don't know if I'm allowed to share it yet necessarily, but they are cooking up something that is outside of the four walls of the Paris Hotel, for during the conference and expo for attendees to continue that creativity that you just mentioned. And so, y'all, if you're coming, and if you're thinking about it, y'all should come, because it's going to be so, so good. And it is going to just be that cherry on the sundae for everybody, for the creative juices flowing and all that good stuff. So y'all, you definitely want to attend. So if you had, you know, if you wanted to share with our attendees here, like your number one reason why, I know it might be hard to like boil it down to one reason, but like the number one reason why they should attend Dance Teacher Web this year, what would, from your perspective, because we're talking about an Englishman in Vegas, what would your, like, you need to do it because
Well, I'm going to cheat a bit. I'm going to say that it's the whole package. I think
Mhm,
for me, the number one reason is that there are a million and one reasons, and it's all wrapped up in one neat package. It's the right length of time. It's in an amazing venue, and they're moving venue this year to the Paris Hotel, which is a fantastic property. You're on the Las Vegas Strip. You can walk across the street and be in the Bellagio, and you can see the amazing famous fountains. So there's the where you are. There's the length of time that you're there. It's, I think, a really good sort of long weekend of
mhm,
activity, just long enough to really be, tip the top kind of amount of time you'd
right.
need. I also think it's that feeling of, and this probably for me is the one reason. It's like I go back for the feeling of community that I get there. I love it, and I'm not even a dance. I don't even work in the dance world, but I got hooked, and I go back because I see people I like. Um, I learn stuff that I
Mhm,
wouldn't, nor in my normal course of life I'd never
yeah.
normally learn. So it's that feeling. I don't want to say it's the feeling of family because it's a cliche, but it is a bit. It's a feeling of
Mhm,
community. You're with this group of like-minded people. They've all sort of traveled in from some distance, so it's a sort of
mhm.
melting pot of different types of people from across the states, from Australia, from the UK, from all over the world, really.
Yes.
Um, so it's that whole package of stuff. That's my number one reason. But if you
Mhm.
wanted me to really nail it down, it would be the kind of community feel. I feel like I'm sort of coming home a bit, coming to this event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's great.
Yeah. I have to say that, I even have some attendees who told me that, like the sessions are great, the faculty is great, but the real reason that they attend every year is because they found their business bestie there, or they found their kindred spirit, or they found, that now they talk on the phone once a week, or one person might live in Florida and the other person's in, Idaho, but they found each other
Mm,
inside the four walls of this conference. And now they feel like they are connected, and they really are connected. They have these relationships that they've built. And so they want to come back to, not only learn, because they do want to learn, but really it's like, oh my gosh, it's my chance to visit my friends and visit those people in the community, and that everyone is just so kind and, really, supportive, and like I said, in it for there for the right reasons. And so, it's a whole vibe, y'all, and it's a good one. And so, yes, I think that, my friends, like, no matter what you're coming for, if you are a teacher looking to take more classes for yourself to feel inspired, check. If you are a new teacher who is wanting to learn more strategies and skill sets, classroom management, things of that nature, you will find it there. Check, right? If you are a studio owner and you are looking for business strategies to grow your enrollment, to understand the finances, I'll be teaching a whole session on that. Check, uh, right? Like, no matter what you're coming for, what I've learned is that you will find it and then some at this event. And so I think that it's absolutely amazing that you're going to be able to come over, document it all, get everyone's perspectives from attendees, exhibitors, faculty, your perspective, and really get your take on things. Because, like we started out with the beginning of this, it's everyone has a different perspective, no matter where you're from. But it's always great to hear both sides of things. So I'm really excited about getting to see you in Vegas, getting to be able
Absolutely.
to see all of your perspective, your clips, and just see what magic happens this year at Dance Teacher Web, because I think it's going to be really spectacular.
I agree. I can't wait.
I can't wait. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you coming on, sharing with us. If you want to, we can come in and drop the link to your landing page, your site that has already some content on there about Dance Teacher Web and the faculty and what to expect. We can come in and drop that there. And then, my friends, if you guys have questions or if you've not grabbed your tickets to Dance Teacher Web yet, I definitely encourage you to do so, because every year, I can't believe how like record breaking it gets. We had to, I say we, like it's me, but Steve and Angie, they decided they had to move to the Paris because last year they sold out, and we know that this year there's going to be even more attendees, so they wanted more space and they, to move. And so y'all don't want to wait to grab these, I will tell you that. So I'm going to leave you there. Matthew, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us.
Great
I
speaking.
appreciate you. I can't wait to see, what we do in Vegas, and I will talk to you very, very soon. I'll see everybody next week for another episode of the Aaron Bird Live Show, where we talk all things business strategy, mindset tips and tricks, and hopefully spreading a little joy for you. So I'll leave you there.